It was a cold autumn evening. The school had emptied out for the week, leaving only a few students and teachers behind. 10-year-old Ethan and his best friends, Mark and Zoe, were exploring the top floor when they stumbled upon an old notebook. The pages were yellowed, and the ink had faded. Ethan had a strange feeling as soon as he touched it, but didn't say anything. To his friends, it was just an old memory book. As they flipped through the pages, Mark suddenly pointed to a sentence. "The secret of the forest lies here." They exchanged curious glances. "The forest? Which forest?" Zoe asked. Ethan immediately thought of the dark, forbidden forest behind the school. Zoe hesitated. It might be dangerous, but Mark, always eager for adventure, replied, "There's nothing to worry about." As the sun set, they snuck out of the school and headed for the forest. By the time they reached the forest, it was completely dark. The tall trees loomed over them, and the rustling of leaves was the only sound in the air. Suddenly, they spotted an old cabin with a faint light shining through the cracks of the door. "Let's check it out," Mark whispered. Despite Zoe's hesitation, the three crept toward the cabin. The door creaked open, revealing a dusty old table and a mysterious black book on top. On the cover of the book, bold letters read, "The Curse of the Night." Ethan reached out to touch the book, and a cold gust of wind blew through the cabin. The door slammed shut behind them. Zoe gasped in fear, but Ethan tried to reassure her, saying, "It's just the wind." Mark, curious as ever, opened the book. Inside, they found an eerie story about a creature that hunts anyone who reads the cursed text. Suddenly, a strange growling sound came from outside the cabin. All three of them froze. "What was that?" Zoe whispered, her voice trembling. Mark cautiously approached the window, but couldn't see anything in the thick darkness. Then they heard the doorknob slowly turning. Their hearts raced as the door burst open, and the dark shadow filled the doorway. Without thinking, they bolted into the forest, running for their lives. As they ran deeper into the forest, the creature's heavy footsteps and growls followed closely behind. Panic consumed them as they stumbled through the dark woods, branches scratching their faces. Eventually, they reached a massive tree with a hollow hole in its trunk. "He can hide in there," Mark shouted. But something felt wrong to Ethan. Before he could stop them, the creature's glowing eyes appeared from the trees, getting closer and closer. Zoe tripped and fell, and as Mark helped her up, the creature appeared in front of them, towering over them with sharp claws outstretched. "Run!" Ethan screamed, his voice cracking. Just then, the old notebook in Ethan's pocket began to glow. He pulled it out, and the words on the pages started moving on their own. A blinding light shot out of the book, pushing the creature back into the shadows. The light from the notebook filled the entire forest, and the creature slowly retreated until it completely vanished. Silence returned, and the friends, out of breath and trembling, looked at each other in shock. What just happened?" Zoe stammered. Ethan, still holding the glowing notebook, whispered, "Let's never come back here again." As morning broke, they found their way back to the schoolyard, but no one ever believed their story.